Hi, Cameron.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We will start in 5 minutes. Let's just wait for more participants to join us.
Morning, Ricky. Sorry, I was on mute.
Hi, Kevin Git.
Hai orang Ipoh.
Hello, orang
Okay.
KL. Why everybody so quiet?
This is the new
Compared
norm.
to yesterday, the interactors, right?
All making noise.
You
It's
see,
still so early.
even your
Sunday
chat,
morning.
even your chat is only like 6. By now, the chat was like the scrolling. You have this scrolling chat going on with the kids.
The difference city is interactors are used to waking up at 7 in the morning.
That's true.
We are used to sleeping. Very big.
Calvin is actually awake.
Yes, surprisingly, I'm actually awake.
So he sarong. Okay.
Audie, Mabuhay, how are you?
Hey Calvin, I'm good. I'm joining you from my room.
Inuman tayo?
Of course.
Literally.
Yeah, we did that. We just did that last night.
I'm surprised you're still awake. The last time I had drinks with you, I couldn't wake up to 2 in the afternoon.
I forgot all of it already.
Anyone else from Manila is here? I think May is here, right?
May is either here already or coming in.
Hi.
Lie
Hello,
down in
good
the week.
morning. I'm okay. Still at home, staying at home due to COVID.
All right. Well, you guys are supposed to be here in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, but we moved the flights to, we haven't decided on the dates yet.
Yeah,
But
we-
definitely we're still going there.
I know. I can't wait for you guys to be here.
We were looking forward to it.
We will show you what Inuman Tayo really means in Malaysia.
So we expect by 2 weeks the flights will resume to normal.
Inshallah, Kiran, inshallah.
Yoi, saya pun
You will
berharap-harap lah.
I think you will still have restriction travel also, right? Certain places.
I would think so. But let's wait for, 3 p.m. and we'll know for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to 3 p.m. Your closing session is from 2, right? Today, Joshua?
At 3. Joshua, people may not come at 3 p.m. But everyone's going to watch Prime Minister give his speech.
No lah, but Dean will have his introduction for 15 minutes. What? So we after the closing, then we join the Pak Dean will be just nice, I guess.
Well, I think today's will be very short because he's going to announce the procedure. So today will be very, very short.
Then you just watch the summary lah.
Cannot lah. I must be there with Muhyiddin mah.
That's Pak Dean leh.
So the last session is at 2 and then 3 onwards is the closing, eh?
Yeah, but the closing will be, I don't think it will take a long time as well. It's going to be a short one.
Never mind. I'll have both on at the same time. So in my speech, I will let you know what the
Live.
Yeah. We'll be glued to your chat, Calvin.
How many do we have?
Sorry.
Okay, we have 56 in the house. We will begin in 1 minute, right? 1 minute to kickstart the session today. Feel free to open your video if you don't mind. All right, so it's 10:35. Good morning, everybody. We have a lot of prestigious speakers as well as audience. We have a lot of Rotarians, road tractors, and friends. Good morning to everybody, and thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us. And welcome to the Digital Road Track Assembly. I'm really excited for the opportunity to be the moderator for this session on community service. Together with me are three amazing and awesome speakers who represent three different angles or perspectives in our discussion today. For Rotary's perspective, we have PDG Siti Subaida. You want to say hi?
Hi.
PDG Siti Subaida from Rotary District 3300. For international road track perspective, we have President Kala Ravida from Road Track Club of Manila of District 3810. Hi, Kala.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
And last but not least, we will also have an angle from the social activist standpoint. We have Neela, who is from Little Helpers KL.
Hey, hello. Nice meeting everyone here.
Right. So welcome. So on 2 days ago, we had done a survey on our Road Track District 3300 Malaysia Facebook page, and we have asked 2 survey questions. 23 people have participated. The first question that we asked is, would you rather physically volunteer or donate money during this COVID-19 period? And the result is rather interesting. We have 92% said they would rather physically volunteer. And 18% say they would rather donate money. For our second survey question, we have 22 people participated. We have asked, would you go out to volunteer knowing that there might be a risk of catching COVID-19? And not surprisingly, the result says 77% said that they will not, and 23% said they would still go out and volunteer. So this kind of shows the sentiment of our volunteers and how should we make any changes in our Road Track Club in organizing any service project. And in light of COVID-19 situation and the movement restriction imposed, many volunteering and fundraising efforts have been moved online. And today we will be discussing on how can we still create positive and lasting impact in our community through sustainable service projects in light of this pandemic. We will zoom, no pun intended, into 2 elements today, impact and sustainability of service project. And our objective today is, of course, to ensure our participant has learned something to bring back the tips and tricks back to their respective road track clubs so that they can apply them straight away. And we will be going to introduce our amazing panel speakers soon. But before that, just a few housekeeping matters to take note of. Today's session will be in 2 parts. First part will be a panel discussion for around 1 hour, followed by a 15 minutes Q&A session. It will be good if you have a paper and pencil with you or any device that you can take note with so that you can jot down any point discussed which you feel important and relevant. Next, feel free to engage with us using the Zoom chat with your comments and let us know whether you agree or disagree with what we said. And most importantly, feel free to use the Zoom chat to ask us any questions. So keep the questions coming as we go. So for introduction, I will start off by introducing myself. My name is Calvin Koy, and I'm the incoming District Community Service Director and currently President of Road Track Club of Kelana Jaya. Can I also request the speakers to introduce yourself and maybe share with us a fun fact about yourself? Can we start with PDG Siti? She's muted.
Hear me now? Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, about myself. Well, I'm just a Rotarian, a mother of 2 kids, like you guys, young teenagers, and I can certainly understand what you go through. I'm currently the district trainer for Rotary District 3300. I'm enjoying myself in Rotary, and I hope once you have finished your road track journey, you come and join us in Rotary because there's a lot of things that we can do together. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, PG City. Next, can we have Carla? You want to introduce yourself and share a fun fact about yourself?
Okay, so good morning everyone to the esteemed Rotarians and fellow Rotaractors present. So I'm very happy to be joining you in your digital Rotaract Assembly. So I'm Carla Ravida, the current president of Rotaract Club of Manila from District 3810 in the Philippines. So I have been a Rotaractor for more than 5 years now. So well, I'll just share two fun facts. I'll share two fun facts about me. So I'm proud to be part of the what we call here in the Philippines the premier district, because in our district we have received 4 Rotaract Outstanding Awards over the years. So and then 3 of these awards were given to my club. So for work, I am currently working as a management consultant and have had different projects in development, public sector, and human resources. And another fun fact about me, so I love going to nightclubs before COVID-19, especially when I was younger. And the best night out or fellowship that I had was with notable Rotaractors. Well, now they are Rotarians from your district. So that one was with DRC, Calvin Koo, and Rotarian Sanjeev when they were here in Manila. I think it was in 2015 or 2016 when we partied in the biggest nightclub here in the Philippines. So it was a very, very fun night for all of us. So that's why when they are here in the Philippines, we always go out and like what was, I think, earlier in the discussion before the start of the meeting, they were saying about drinking a lot. So yeah, that's a fun fact about me. So again, I'm very happy to be here to learn about community service from your district and to learn also from my fellow panelists. So thank you and good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Carla, for the introduction. And yep, glad to know you had quite some fun time with our fellow Rotaractors here as well. And next up, can I have Neela to introduce herself and perhaps also share a fun fact about yourself?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Neela. I used to be an Interactor, Rotaractor, and as I said earlier, before some of you joining, and then I decided to move out and see what I can do. And that's where I started Little Helpers with a group of friends. It has been going for a year now, close to a year. Fun fact about me, I'm a recruiter. So if any of you need, any of you, a Rotaractor need career advisors, or hey, if you want to just ask about your CVs, please do get in touch with me. I'll be able to help. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Neela. And without further ado, let's get straight to our panel discussion today. The first question I would like to pose to all 3 speakers. Before that, I would like to explain how the format today is going to be. So I'll pose one question and it will be answered by 3 speakers, all 3 speakers consecutively. So without further ado, the first question I have is, when we talk about service projects, we always strive to create lasting and positive impact. So what sort of impacts are we really looking into? Can I have Neela? Neela, you want to kickstart?
I think for me, right, when it comes to long and lasting impact, right, it's about simply giving. Because a lot of us many times would want to do something, but we don't know the avenue, or we are just scared of doing it. But when you start doing it, when you do it continuously, because some of us may be like, okay, I just want to do this once and move on. But once you get that feeling of, okay, hey, this is good. That's how I started actually to continuously give. Because one day I thought of going to a Feed for Homeless about 10 years back. And once I got that feeling, it continued. And today here I am with a group of friends trying to start our own organization. I think that's what long and lasting, it's a continuous thing that you have to do. It's not just of one time.
Right. Thank you, Neela. So as I understand correctly, impact to you is somewhat when you give back to the society, it also impacted yourself to go for the extra mile.
Yeah.
So for the same question, can I have Carla? You want to take it next?
Yeah, okay. So, well, on a Rotaract perspective, so the kinds of impact that you would look into is, for me, like there are two things you would want to look into. Is one, the impact to the community where you will be partnering with or doing your service with, and second is the impact to your club. So first is the impact. We'll go first with the impact to the club. It's really more on the membership engagement, because you have to see how you can get the members involved from the development to the actual implementation of the project. So it's a way to draw out the interest of the members, and at the same time, it's also a marketing tool for your club to engage more potential members to join your club when you do community service. So that's one, impact to members. And then the other one, the impact that you want to see or you will be looking into is to the community. But it will really depend on the kind of community you will be serving. So one example, like for us here in our club, is we have a partnership, a long-term partnership with an organization that deals with out-of-school youth. So of course their needs would be more on how they will be going back or encouraging them to go back to the school. So understanding those needs, that's the kind of impact, or that's how we will be developing our actions and to create good impact to them. So when you will be, for Rotaractors, when you will be looking into impact, you have to consider your club and the community you will be doing your service with. Yeah.
Right, brilliant. Thank you, Carla, for the sharing. So next up, can we have PDG City to share about the Rotary perspective?
Thanks, Galvin. I guess creating an impact is just not about a Rotary perspective or Rotaract perspective. I think what we need to look at is who are the stakeholders of a project. Basically, the first stakeholder is the beneficiary. So how does your project impact the beneficiary in terms of immediate support, short-term benefits, and on a long-term basis? And then you have the donors who contribute. What does the project does justice to their contribution? How does the donors, the contributors benefit from the project? What kind of impact, so that they can become your continue to contribute and support you in your project? And then you have the volunteers, in this case, the Rotaractors. I think Carla did touch about it earlier. You know, the time they spend on the project, is it worthwhile? Was there a team effort? And was the project, or is the project something that the Rotaractor or the volunteer wants to be part of? It has created an impact to him personally that he wants to continue supporting this project as it goes along. And of course, finally, whether that project of yours has increased social awareness of the problem or the cause that you're doing that project. So you need to look at a project in terms of in a whole, in a overview and collectively with all these areas, because every stakeholder has to benefit from the project.
Right, thank you, PDGCT. I think that it's a really good starting point to look at the stakeholders and primarily the beneficiary before we kickstart any service projects. And I also like Carla's point on when we look at impact, we also should look at the impact towards our team members, our club members. And this leads me to the next question. Are there ways to measure impact? What are the methods for impact measurement? Can I have PDGCT to start first?
Yes, I think a lot of us tend to, after we complete a project, we do not do a simple survey analysis. Like I said earlier on, I mentioned about the 4 stakeholders. I think we need to just carry out a very simple analysis. How, of these 3 or 4 key indicators, how have they benefited in your project in terms of the time the volunteer has put in terms of the beneficiaries, what did they actually benefit out of this project? And then you have the donor, were they satisfied, and did you actually do a project that they funded you for, you know? And the community, the awareness you created through social media, was the reach, was what you're looking at. So when you do this simple analysis of how your project has been, whether it's successful or not, you will be able to measure the impact of what your project that you have carried out, so that you can improve of it, you can make it better, and review your entire project the next time you do another project.
Right. Thank you, PDG-City. I agree with your point. I think they are really really relevant, that the project should end not when we finish executing it, but after we have analyzed the impact that we created and report and review as well. So next, can I have Neela to contribute to this question?
All right. So as what PDG said, it's important to look into all the stakeholders, and I do agree with her on that, because once you look into that, you kind of get to an idea, okay, what have you done with the beneficiaries? How did that impact them? Were you able to do it in the short term? And how are we able to help them in the long term as well? Because in some criteria, some cases, I would say in this matter, we always look into the short term and not at the long term. But I think when you want to create an impact, it has to be looked at the both sides, the short term and the long term, so that we should teach the beneficiary fishing instead of just giving fish as well. Probably the first time we can always give the fish, but not all the time, right? In terms of the donors as well, because a lot of donors, they come into, the reason why they donate, it can be because of two things, as what you said earlier, Kelvin. Some of them would rather be willing to donate because of the situation of the pandemic now, or some of them do not have the time. So when you go back to them and when you look into all this, okay, and show them the accountability, that creates a long-lasting impact in a way that, hey, these guys are doing what they have said. And at the same time, it creates that trust also. And in terms of volunteer, because when you volunteer, the sad thing about volunteers sometimes, it can be, we overlook them. A lot of us tend to overlook at volunteers because we felt they're just volunteers, but they came to volunteer for a reason. And if we continuously update them and follow up with them, I think the group of volunteers that you can create will be bigger, because they know what's happening, what sort of projects that we are doing, and continue to commit to themselves.
All right, thank you, Neela. So again, I think this is really an important point, to engage our stakeholders properly, consistently, make sure they know what's going on during the project and especially after the project. And that fits the purpose of impact measurement. So next up, Carla, you want to share about your views on impact measurement?
Yeah, so actually I agree with PDG, City, and Neela on what they've mentioned about that, looking into the stakeholders, like looking into the number of hours spent in the development and actually doing of the project. So just to add a few more ways on how you can measure the impact of the service project is also you look into, or you count the number of benefactors that will be part of the project. So, and also try if this project will be a long-term, like it can be like a monthly, as mentioned by Neela, is it a short-term or long-term? You try to measure the development. So by measuring the development, for example, if it's a feeding project, so you try, if you can get the weight of the children that you are providing food to, you try to measure the development so that, as mentioned by PDG-City, you would know the progress. You would have a tool to review the effect and the impact of the project that you're doing, so that if you, for example, since we have usually one year for doing projects, and then for the next term, when they review the projects and they would see, oh, can we adapt this? And then later on, we will improve it. You could see points where you could improve and points that you would continue, so that when you will be creating long-term projects or sustainable projects, you have basis of what you can refer to, and you can see really the impact that you do to the community and at the same time to your club there.
Right, thank you, Carla. So I agree with the point that a long-term project will be a better type of project for impact measurement, as we can see how the beneficiary has developed from the beginning of our project to the end of project. So I think the key is to make our project sustainable as a long-term project, or make it as a recurring project. Because often we create project to fulfill citations and it kind of defeat the purpose. So yeah, we can keep in mind to create more sustainable service projects in the future. So the next question I have is, how do we ensure that our service projects are need-driven and truly benefiting the community that we intend to serve? Can I have Carla to begin with?
Yep. Okay. So, well, you would be doing like a needs assessment, so that you would know if the project that you will be doing would really address the needs of the community. So, well, just to share how we do it in the club is, first, when we select or we look into the community or organization that we look into, is one, we do like a desk research or a background study of the community. So this can also involve in interviewing like the stakeholders in the community, like learning their story, understanding their background, and knowing their needs, and also what are their goals in the community. And then we do a site visit in the area. So it's to more than just like talking to them, we have to see where they are located, so that if we will be pursuing a project with them, we would also understand how we can like move or transfer the members from their location and to where we were meeting, or to from where they will be coming from. So their site visit, study the community, and then the third one is to assess the capacity of your club. So of course, you as a club, like in Rotaract and Rotary, we want to do more. We want to be able to help a lot of people, but we have to understand what is the capacity of our club. So if, let's say, the need of the community is, for example, they need more rice in their areas because they experience like a natural calamity, and for them to have food, they need rice. So what can the club do? Can the club really buy rice, or can the club do donation process? So you have to understand what is the capacity of your club, like know your skills, know your strengths, and that's how you will be creating your project. So with understanding the community, visiting the community, and assessing your club, you will be able to know how you can execute and plan, but plan and then execute for a good service project.
Right, thank you, Carla. I think it was really a really good point that we should work backwards. So we first do a need assessment on the community we want to serve, the beneficiary, to look at their problems, and then we work backwards to then really plan a project to fit their problem. So for the same question, can I ask PDG City to share your thoughts on it?
Carla has said it rightfully, what needs to be done. I think what is important is, in whatever project that we want to do, know what the community needs. Do something that what the community is required, they require, not what you want to do. A lot of us tend to do this. We want to do a project because we like doing this project. It's not what the community needs, right? Avoid this, what we call the syok sendiri, or the feel good feeling, you know, after doing this project, oh, I've done this project, right? But what does the community benefit from doing that? Is you have a feel good feeling. So it's so important to gather information. What really do they need? How can you cater for it? Like, for example, how Carla said, is your club in capacity to carry out that project? If your club is not able to do it, why not do joint projects? Join it. You have a great idea, you know, it's a massive project, but you cannot carry out alone, right? You go out there, you have your Rotary clubs to partner, you have your fellow Rotary clubs to partner, you have the corporates to partner with, right? So you can see from a small project, you can expand it to a huge project if you bring in partners to it. So always look at what the community needs, not what you want to do. You know, you sometimes club presidents or, you know, new leaders coming in, they have a list of projects that they want to do. You want to do this, you want to do that and that. But then that's not what they want to do, but not what the community needs, right? So at the end of the day, you know, you're so happy, oh, I've done 5 projects. So it's so important, do one project, but the impact, the sustainability, and what the community could benefit from it. And that is what is very key. Do your homework first.
Right, thank you, PDG. I think that is a huge truth, Bob, that we all should really try to change our mindset to always look at the community first. And next, can I have Neela to share on this question?
Sure. So I agree with both PDG and Carla on this. Most of the time, like what PDG said, most of us are shock scenery. We have to, I want to do this, I want to do this, and not to understand what the community needs. I think it's very important to go down the field to understand the community and do the site visit, like what Carla said. Because when you do the site visit, you know the people. Some people you can connect to, some people it takes time to connect with, right? So when you go to meet the community people, sometimes when you get connected to some of them, you can understand what's the lifestyle of the community, what do they do for living, how do they go around on their daily lives, so that it gives you as an organization or a club an understanding of, okay, this is how it is, what can we do and how can we do. A lot of times, like what PDG said, when we shock scenery, we just want to do, okay, I don't care what they feel, let's do this, and then done. We are done with the project. I think this is something that we, as a Rotary, because I used to be a Rotary as well, every Rotary club has to change, and this is also something I learned during my recent project as well, how important it is to understand the community before going out and helping them on things that we do. So yeah.
Thank you, Neela. So to summarize from all 3 speakers, what I get from it is to really understand the community. You can go to the site visit, go for a site visit, get your hands dirty, and really understand what do they really need our help with. And then only we cater, we curate our service projects to solve their problems. All right, thank you. And next, I would like to introduce our upcoming District Community Service Director, Jasmine Chu, to share about the Rotary 6 areas of focus. As sometimes we think that we don't have an idea of what service projects we can organize, we can always refer to this 6 area of focus. So Jasmine, are you there?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I am Jasmine from Rotary Club of Asia Pacific University. So now I will start with, okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay. So Rotary's 6 areas of focus. The first one, we have maternal and child health. And then we have basic education and literacy. Next, we have economic and community development. And then we have peace and conflict prevention and solution. And then disease prevention and treatment. And last but not least, water and sanitation. Back to you, Kevin.
Yep. So this is 6 Rotary area of focus. And can I invite a few participants from our session today to share about what are some of the projects that you have done that related to these six area of focus. Is Anish here? Anish from Road Track Club of Petaling Jaya. Hi, Anish. Anish, you are muted. Right. Yep. Anish, could you share with us your past experience in a service project that you have done?
We can't really hear him though.
He's still muted.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should be able to hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Good morning to past District Governor Siti, President Kala, Neela from Mental Health First, District Director Calvin, and fellow Rotractors and Rotarians. Rotrac Club of Petaling Jaya firmly believes that sustainability is the best process to achieve efficiency. For Rotary year 17-18, Rotrac Club of Petaling Jaya organized Jokes on You. The main objectives were to raise funds to improve the living conditions of the Orang Asli community in Tapah Perak. We provided necessities to villagers for basic farming. We also purchased 20 kilograms of compost, filled a chicken coop with an additional 50 chickens, expanded their goat house, and purchased an additional 3 female goats. Most importantly, the villagers were equipped with knowledge to sustain the farming environment for self-sustenance and generating income. Sustainability is very important to ensure that the future generation of the Orang Asli are able to benefit from an expanded income generating business. This brought a domino effect to the villagers to strive for a sustainable lifestyle. RSCPJ and Pertubuhan Community Elite, founded by past President Alice from Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya, is very committed to improve the living standards of the Orang Asli community. For Rotary term 1920, we focused on an inner village in Kelantan. The focus was to bring clean river water to the villagers. Unfortunately, their current river water had been contaminated by nearby factories. Rotrac Club of Petaling Jaya had been planning to build a tube well for the villagers. This is a method to source for underground water which will not be contaminated. We were also planning to bring a team in the village to carry out tests to confirm if there was actually underground water. However, the project has been put on hold due to the recent movement control order. RSCPJ is evaluating the ability to complete the project in the best possible way. This wraps up the progress of RSCPJ to impact the Orang Asli community in a positive light. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Right, thank you, Anish. That was a wonderful past projects that Road Track Club of Petaling Jaya has organized, and it has particularly focused on the key area of clean water and sanitation, as well as community development. So can I have one more from the audience side to share about your past experience? Balvinder, do you want to share? Balvinder from Road Track Club of Sagi KL College. Hello, Bell.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I think I would like to share about the most recent community service project we have before COVID-19. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Project KFC, collaborating with Road Track Kelana Jaya and also Road Track ATC, if I'm not mistaken. So I think even though this was like not to, for me, community service doesn't mean we have to like support the needies at like most of the time, because like Project KFC didn't really help. Project KFC actually helped a lot of students. So I think Project KFC was Cookies for Kindness. So what I think is when we started the project, because during that time in my college and university, they was having a exam period time. So me and my team, when we collaborated with KJ, we was like, okay, this is gonna take a few days. Hope the cookies won't get bad. Hope everything will participate and see how many students and staff we can get to participate in this. So we have around 50 cookies. So we divided like, okay, so let's see if we can make like past 20 today. So I think so when we started the booth, when we opened the booth for the kindness, people started asking, oh, like what is this? Like what is this? How much is this cookie? And like it's free for an act of kindness. So they was like, okay, what are the act of kindness? So we have a jar with full act of kindness, like say hello to your mom, say I love you to your mom, say I love you to my parents, say thank you to teachers, hug a stranger, buy a stranger water, something like that. So because like this project was like cookies for kindness, I can see a lot of them come and literally they frankly speaking, we decided to have this booth for 3 days and it ended in 3 hours. The cookies was gone in 3 hours. So I think so if we are doing a community service, we have to think not only about a single particular community, the needies, but also all the perspective. Yeah. We literally every time we have community service, we literally think about the needies, but not like other perspective like students, like teachers, like workers. Now COVID-19 have literally like shown us like how we need to see all the perspective in community service by not just focusing on one. We are staying in this community, so we help everyone. So what I think is, if we want to plan future projects, let's plan for all the perspective we can cover. I'm not telling like we should, but then at least if you have the capacity of trying, why not? So yeah, that's all from me, Kelvin.
Right, thank you, Lavinda, for the wonderful sharing of your past project Kindness for Cookies, simply by giving free cookies in exchange of random acts of kindness. So next up, back to our panel discussion. I will ask this question again to all three panel speakers. So the question will be related to the 2 survey questions that we have conducted on the Facebook page. Basically, we are now facing so many uncertainties and even anxiety. And a lot of us are not sure about how to move forward as an organization. So, and many new normals have been practiced in light of COVID-19. So my next question is, how has COVID-19 or the movement restriction imposed impacted us? How have they impacted us in organizing or executing a service project? Can I have Carla to start first?
Yeah. Okay. So well, with COVID-19 impacting actually not just community service projects, but a lot of projects that we have, it was initially it was very restricting because here in the Philippines we have lockdowns in different cities within the National Capital Region, so we cannot just go from one city to another and do community service. So what we did is well, just to give an example of how we do community service, even if we have the restrictions in movement here, since the community that we are supporting or providing help to is one of the really badly affected with the lockdown, since they cannot do work, they cannot go out of their homes. We asked the community what is their need, and then when they launch like a project that they need rice, since we are the kinds of the community, the parents of the out of school youth they're the type of, when they do work for the day, that's what they will earn for the day. So they're daily wage earners. So since rice is very important, so and what we did, since we cannot go there and provide rice, we did an internal fundraising. So when we say internal fundraising, it's within the club. So we did an internal fundraising, and then we donated the fund to the community. So since they have the means to buy the rice in their community, so that's how we do the community service now. Is the easiest way that we can do is by fundraising, so that we can still be connected with the community and address the needs that they have at the time being.
Right, thank you, Carla. Thanks for sharing the insights on how can we still organize service projects in this pandemic period. Next, can I have PDG City to share about what have COVID-19 or the MCO have impacted us, and how do we move forward? What changes do we need to make, if any?
Well, I think we can still carry on doing our projects, but perhaps we refocus to what is the current strength. The current strength is all on social media. So we take advantage of it. What we can do now is, if we cannot go down on the ground, which we should not, because we have to promote social distancing, go out there and carry out community empowerment messages. I think that's very, very crucial, because that's how we support what the government, what the community needs to do, is at the end of the day, is to stop the spread. So how can we do that? Because once we champion a cause, and the cause is going out there to share such messages to the community, to the students, to our families, to our neighbors, right? So that they can practice the various forms of social distancing. They practice good hygiene. They practice wearing the mask when they're out there. So these are also community service projects. It's not necessarily going there to provide food or things like that, right? So as youth, your powerful tool is social media. We are all on the various social media. So promote those good values and positive messages. Take advantage of what the strength you have. Leave the, what we call the funding and all the groundwork to the NGOs who have got that capacity, who has got that means to go down ground and do those kind of physical projects. You can certainly play a different role in championing the cause of stopping the spread.
Right. Thank you, PDG-CT, for highlighting that changes have to be made, or rather our focus have to be changed. For now, as youth, what can we do is really to focus on social media, to basically to bring awareness, or like what PDG-CT said, to do a community empowerment message on how to spread this disease. So next up, can I have Neela to share on this question?
Sure. So as you said, can we still organize any service project? In my personal opinion, yes, we can continue to organize. But being most of us, most of the Rotaractors are being more on student, what's very important is your safety and health is very important. So use social media to your strength. Let it be fundraising, let it be spreading positive messages. But if any of you are like, no, I'm a person who wants to get on the ground, collaborate with an NGO, and work with them, understand, because when you collaborate with NGOs, you can learn new and different things with them as well. And make sure when you go down to the ground, maintain your safety with your mask and also your hygiene, because end of the day, as much as you want to do that, you have to ensure that you're doing it the right way. So yeah, that's from me.
All right, thank you, Neela, for your sharing. And Carla, you want to share?
Aside from the other activities that can be done for during this situation, am I right?
Oh no, okay, to add on for the previous question, I would like to ask if you can give us any examples for virtual volunteerism.
Sorry, for volunteerism, like what to do?
Yep. Can you give us some examples of virtual volunteerism for what our participants can do during this period to serve the community?
Okay, yeah. So I agree with what PDGCT said, that to use the social media. So that's a very powerful tool, especially nowadays, since a lot of us are online. Like we do a lot of our we do our meetings online. We know the news online. So in promoting different causes or just giving out reminders on how do people can prevent the stop of the virus, like keeping their hands clean, washing their hands, keeping social distancing and all. And then if there are committees, as what I've mentioned by Nila, if there are organizations that are doing projects, since they are on the ground and they are very in touch with the people, maybe you could ask them that if they would need more social media presence, that you can partner with them and then tell them, our club page has this reach, so maybe if we partner, we can promote your club, we can promote the project that you do on the ground for the community, and this is the reach that you can get. So playing on your strengths, especially on social media, will be very helpful right now, since a lot of people, I think during these times, are very concerned with what is happening, not just with the members, but also outside. So by using social media, and then if you can partner with organizations that are on the ground and doing promotions for them, that will be very helpful in helping out different communities.
Okay, thank you. So for the same question to Siti and Nila, do you have anything to add on? That because based on our survey, there are quite a high percentage of our participants who will rather not go out and volunteer. So if they were to do volunteer work at their home, so virtual volunteerism, are there any examples that you can give?
Okay, from my side, I think let me speak as a club so that it's easier for me to explain. When you have about 12 people in a club and 10 people are saying, no, I would rather do virtual, and 2 people is willing to go on the ground and work on things. What this 10 group of people can do to help is mainly on social media, planning, and other related stuff that usually a lot of people do at the back end, and then move to the front end. I think that way you can do a lot of stuff as well, even in terms of building your PRs for your clubs and all that, and posting it online. It works, and it helps you to, it helps for those 2 people who are willing to go on the ground. So yeah, that's one thing that you guys can focus on as well.
Thank you, Nila. PDGCT, you have anything to add?
Our district is as you know, that our district has a COVID-19 emergency relief committee that has been doing COVID projects. We started off with the first phase, where it's immediate relief of food and healthcare items. But we are going into our second phase, and this is basically the message. It's a community empowerment message to stop the spread. And we are going to involve the Rotractors, the Intractors, to support us in this project, or rather to be part of this project, because it is going to be a message that we would like to share with everyone. But it starts with us, the Rotary family. And the project is basically to go out there, talk to the communities that right now the curve has already flattened. What do we do next? We cannot be lackadaisical. We have to continue the effort so that the curve doesn't come back. So one of those things that we are promoting, besides the social distancing efforts, hygiene and messages and things like that, is to have people continue wearing their mask whenever they are in a large community, whenever they are in groups, wherever they are going out to do projects, wherever they are where they are in public places where a large group is gathering, because that would prevent COVID from spreading. So it's a message that it's a project that we are going to share with the Rotractors very soon. So we hope that could be something virtually. Go out there and share this thing that you are championing the cause of stopping the spread.
Right. Thank you, PDG. Thank you, PDG City. From what I gathered from three speakers, so even though we have to stay at home, there are still plenty voluntary work we can do at home. For example, the social media management mentioned by Carla, PR mentioned by Nila, and of course we can conduct any awareness campaign or even fundraising campaign through social media. So the next question is about funding. So we have seen many online fundraisers being carried out online on the social media. Are there any tips that you guys can share on effective fundraising methods or how to effectively manage an online campaign? You want to start first, PDG City?
Well, let me start off by congratulating our road track District 330 under Lee Kun, Joshua, and all and those who are involved with your recent road track festival. I know your target was like trying to raise $5,000, but eventually, you managed to raise $20,000. That's really, really amazing. And I think from that project, you could actually see the method that you use. It wasn't requesting people to donate $1,000, $2,000. It was just a simple cause, and people could just even donate as little as 20 ringgit. So you're making it very easy for people to contribute, because when someone contributes even 20 ringgit, right, it is coming from their heart. They care for something. They appreciate what you are doing in your festival. For example, the songs, and I must say that you Tractors did very well. I mean, you have good singers. We should get you into some of our events. Do something that touches the heart of people. Okay, little things, and little things when you put together, like I said, could you imagine something that you want to raise 20 ringgit would eventually come up within 2 weeks to 20,000? So go for something that people, that touches someone's heart. They want to be part of your cause. And that's the message in any of your fundraising project, that you should first promote and share what you actually feel about that project.
Right, thank you, PDG. I believe this is in line with what people like. People like to be in part of the journey. So if you have started a project, it is always good to take on people on your journey. And we always believe that small but many. So with many small amounts, we can still create a big impact at the end. Next, Nila, you want to share with us about how to organize a successful fundraising campaign? Oh, Nila, you're muted.
All right, sorry. So based on my experience, what is important is you create that trust within people around you. In terms of road track, what you also have to do in terms of road track is create that bond and trust with your Rotary, sponsoring Rotary Club. Let me be very upfront here. I've left road track about 2 years ago. But when I started the COVID-19 grocery giving project, a lot of road track and Rotary Club came forward to say, hey, Nila, we would like to help in terms of financially and also volunteering. In this case, Rotary Club of Kelana Jaya, Rotary Club of KLCC came and said, okay, Nila, let's work together, and in terms of fundraising, and also Road Track Club of Ampang as well. See, me being an ex-road tractor, Rotarians and also fellow road tractors and friends came about and helped. I'm sure when you create, but because the trust has been built, and people tend to see what you are doing consistently before they come to help you. And I think it's very important when you're a road track club, you build the trust and bond. I do understand that based on my past experience, road tractors feel, oh, Rotarians do not support road tractors much. Maybe it has changed. If it has changed, and then it's good. But what I'm trying to say from a ex-road tractor point of view, create that understanding. Always go and speak about your ideas. What do you want to do? How do you want to do? And see if your Rotary Club is aligned with that, or you can, when you consistently communicate about your project, I'm sure in terms of funding, you would be able to get their help as well on this. In terms of public, you have to consistently show what you're doing, as what I said. It's not, okay, I'm going to do a project now, so it's better for me to start. No, it doesn't work, because when it comes from people, right, when people you know, they will be, when it's the first time you're posting on social media, they'll probably be surprised why suddenly this project, and they would want to know more. But when you're consistently doing it, when you always show what you're doing it and why you're doing it, people tend to trust you. And the moment you say, okay, I'm going to raise this much for this, people will come forward to help you. And trust me, this works.
All right, thank you, Nila, for pointing out that the importance of building trust with our prospective donors online. Next, can I have Carla to share your take on this question?
Yeah, so yeah, I'll add on to what PDG City said and Mila. So for example, for PDG said about how you did your the music festival fundraising that you did. Was it, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. So when you do a fundraising, you have to be engaging to those you would be targeting for the donations or for the fundraising. So when you create your content and you'll be placing it on your social media pages, it has to be engaging. Like you select good fonts, colors, content that will be engaging and at the same time very informative. So when you will be engaging potential sponsors or donors, you have to show information like where the money will be used, where will it go, and then to continue to add also to what Nila said is you have to show also, or from pictures or from videos that you have, is how the money was spent, so that it will be more accountability when you do your fundraising, and that it will increase your credibility also as Rotary actors, that when you do such events, so that people will know, okay, they're using my money for really good things. So when this club or the district or community will be doing another fundraising, okay, I'm supporting this because they're very good in doing this kinds of project, and I understand that they're helping a lot of people. So you have to be engaging, and the content that you will be using informative, that the people will know where their donations will be going and how it will be used. And at the same time, you have to show the end results of your fundraising efforts. And at the same time, after the project is done, you have to thank your sponsors. Like if you can do, like for example, a photo of them, like saying thank you to them. If you have major sponsors, you thank them on your social media pages. So that it's like a cycle of how you plan it, so that people will have, at the end of the project, everyone will feel good that they did their part. Your club did your part in creating the project. At the same time, the donors would feel appreciated that they did their part in contributing to your fundraising efforts.
Well, thank you, Carla, for putting up such great sharing on how to manage or how to organize effective online campaign and fundraising campaigns as well. So from what Carla said, it is very important to create engaging content. So that includes your marketing skill. That is very important, how to market it out, how to market your cause to the stakeholders, as well as the importance of showing the result. Make sure the process is transparent, and that will promote accountability of the Rotaract identity. So thank you, Carla. So for the next question, it's not really a question. I would like to request Jasmine once again to share about what are the funding sources available.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so there are 3 main types of grants available that you can apply based on the type of projects that you're looking for. So we'll start from the right, which is the district grants. So the district grants can be applied by any Rotaract clubs with good standing in the district. You can issue an official letter to the district treasurer to apply for the grants, and they will follow the majority votes of other Rotaract clubs to decide whether to approve your application or not. And the maximum amount you can apply is 500 ringgit, and the funds will all be paid to your club at one shot. So moving on, we have support grants by the Yayasan Club Rotary Malaysia. And the grants will be provided in a form of matching method, and I will explain that part in a while. So this support grants is a program where Yayasan match the funds raised by the club to a maximum project cost of 10,000 ringgit for humanitarian projects that involve a significant involvement of Rotary. So for example, a simple example would be our recent Rotary Online Festival, where we raised 10K from the fundraiser, and we got the matching fund, another 10K from the support grants. So in simple words, if Club A raised 1,000 ringgit and Club B raised another 1,000 ringgit, so your total will be 2,000, right? And Yayasan will match that figure by providing another 2,000 ringgit and make the total 4,000. So this grant can be applied by completing the application form in their website, and the link will be sent in the Zoom chat in a while. Besides, we also have global grants by Rotary Foundation to support large international activities. And this grant can be used to fund humanitarian projects, scholarships for graduate level academic studies, as well as vocational training teams. There is a qualification process that you need to follow to be qualified for the global grants. So if you wish to know more, you can read the requirements stated in their website as well. The link will also be sent in the Zoom chat. That's all from me.
Right, thank you, Jasmine, for the sharing on the availability of funding sources. But of course, the funding sources available from the grants are not infinity. So it is still very important for us to organize fundraisers, to reach out to the public, to reach out to our network of friends and our family. So, and I'm coming to my last question, and it is about sustainability. As I mentioned in the initial, at the starting point just now, the two very important elements that we're going to discuss is on impact and sustainability. So I would like to ask the three speakers, what does sustainability of service projects mean to you? And how do we ensure sustainability of our service projects? Can I have Nila to start first?
Sure. For me, in terms of sustainability means when we are considering a project, make sure we have to ensure, not to say make sure, sorry for that, ensure that a particular project, when we execute it, it benefits the beneficiary in the long run. Because as I said earlier, we should start we should start teaching the beneficiaries how to fish and not always give the fish. I think that's the most important thing on this. Once you plan on, on the long-term bit, I think that's where you can continuously follow up with the same person. What we are doing most of the time is we are doing a one-off project whereby, okay, I'm done, we are close, move on. I'm done, we are close, move on. Probably that approach can be changed, keeping in mind that if you do consistent follow-up on how they are doing, how is the particular community is doing, what sort of help you can do, or assistance you can give to the community, so that at one point they don't need us, but our assistance. That's where you have to look into all that.
Thank you, Nila. Next, can I have Carla to share? What are your views on sustainability in service projects?
Okay. So, well, for me, when we say sustainable, it has to be long term. So, just to share, like, this is how Rotary, and I think PDG City would later expound on for Rotary, is how sustainability is defined in Rotary is it means long-term solutions to community problems that the community members themselves can support after the intervention of the club ends. So like what Nila mentioned is that you don't, in his example, you don't just give the fish always to the community, but you have to teach them how to do the fishing activity. So when you say sustainable, is that the impact or the intervention that you will be doing is intentional on the part of the club. Like if you understand their needs and you have assessed the capacity of your club, your intention has to show in the action that you will be doing to the community. And when your intention is met, the development will happen for the community. And sustainability long-term is that the effect will be for a longer time, not just, let's say, for a year, but then you can see how the community would grow with the intervention or the intent that you did on the part of the organization or the community. There.
Thank you, Carla, for highlighting the importance of creating long-term projects. Next, and can we have PDG City to share on this?
When we say sustainability, we have to ensure that where the community that we are supporting or the project that we are doing, the community or the individual would eventually be economically independent and be able to fend themselves. That is the end goal. But for us to go to that goal where the individual can now fish on his own, I think the fishing has been going on for the last 2 years. Okay, so to take the example, in order for the person to be able to fish, we need to empower the individual or the community with the various tools, right? We need to first teach the person how to fish. We need to show them what kind of rod they should use. We should then show them which area, what kind of fishes they should be able to get. So at the end of the day, when they are able to fish, we should see where can they sell the fish to, right? So in order to reach your goal that at the end of the day, the community or the individual is able to fend themselves, there is a process. And that is why sustainable projects, when we talk about sustainable projects, we talk about short-term projects and long-term projects. What is the short-term goal and what is the long-term goal? So whichever goal that you are looking at in your project, please ensure that these goals, when met, is able to give that individual, that community, the tools they need to carry on without you having to be there anymore. But do go back to your projects, do follow up, and make sure that, they are still sustained rather than, after you left, it goes back again to basics. So follow up with the project that you have done. So very important, not only to teach them how to fish, but give them the necessary tools where they can sell the fish to.
Thank you, PDG City, for this fishing analogy started since Nila's answer. I think it has absolutely answered the question perfectly. So the importance of empower the community, as highlighted by PDG City, I totally agree. So this brings the panel discussion to an end, and we will now begin the Q&A session. So if you have any questions about our discussion today, feel free to pop it in the Zoom chat. But before that, allow me to invite Jasmine once again to share about what are the rewards or the awards that are available for organizing a service project by the community service directors in this room, and also to share about World Road Track Week.
All right. So I'm sure that after a long planning process, you put all your effort and time into the project. What's better than having a project to be recognized by the others? Okay. So there are two main awards that you can apply for, which are the District Awards and Road Track Outstanding Award. In this case, you can nominate your ComServe project to the district by the end of the term. And the submission for this term just ended about a week ago. So the District Awards Chair and his team will then assess them based on your originality, your creativity, and so on. And on the other hand, the Rotary Outstanding Award is judged based on various areas such as sustainability, like our speakers mentioned just now, and impact in Rotary's 6 areas of focus, support of Rotary's commitment to change lives locally and globally, collaboration with Rotarians and local experts, and the percentage of Rotary members involved in the development and implementation of your project. So moving on to World Rotary Week. So Rotaractors and Rotarians around the world celebrate World Rotary Week during the week of 13 March to commemorate the founding of the first club in 1968, which was found in the University of Carolina at Charlotte. In fact, there are many ways that you can celebrate World Rotary Week as a club, and the most common one would be celebrating with service. You can do it with your club or as a joint project, sorry, with other clubs to do fundraiser or raise awareness about a cause or organize a service project. As our slogan goes, fellowship through service. You can even do a networking charity event locally or even make it international. For example, the Rotary Club of APU raised 500 USD for polio in last Rotary year by busking around the university campus. And other than that, Rotary Club of Pudu did a hike cleanup at Bukit Broga, which was also a good example of fellowship through service. And also not to forget the significant project KFC, which stands for Kindness for Cookies, done by Rotary Club of Kelana Jaya, ATC, and Segi KL. And in this project, they give out free cookies in exchange of a random act of kindness. There are many kinds of projects that can be done during this week, and you can just add in your own creativity to do something that suits the community's needs. Apart from that, by doing a project during the World Rotary Week, your club can be nominated by your own sponsoring club or the district Rotary chair to receive the World Rotary Week Recognition e-certificate. And the nomination period is all year, and you can download the e-cert from the website, and we will send the website in the Zoom chat. Okay, that's all from me.
All right, thank you, Jasmine, for sharing about the available awards that we can potentially submit for, and also World Rotary Week to celebrate the the birth of Rotary Club. So we will now proceed with the Q&A session. I've seen a lot of chat being popped in the Zoom chat, but I don't see any question actually.
One from Long Fu. Yeah, I can ask him to say.
Okay, Long Fu, can I invite you to share your question?
Hi, I'm Long Fu. So I would like to ask, I heard that Rotary Club of Manila has been a consecutive winner of Rotary Outstanding Project. So what kind of projects that you guys organize that keeps the club being at the top?
Okay, Carla, you have to take this.
Well, it's not, the projects that we do are not like very big or very grand, like we have a lot of money and then spend it all. But what the projects that we do, how we see them is we invite our Rotarians, we're sponsoring Rotarians to join our project. So we share the most recent award that we received in Rotary year 2018-2019. We won the Asia Pacific Award for our heartfelt project. So this is wherein the out-of-school youth that we are helping them to go back to formal or traditional education by providing art therapy activities. So at the end of this year, we introduced our sponsoring Rotarians, the Rotary Club of Manila Magic, in the community where we are conducting our projects. So since in their in their club rather, they have doctors and legal lawyers. So what they did that when they joined our project with Young Focus, they realized that, oh, there are still parts of this community that wherein we can step in and provide support to. So for the doctors, they did the medical mission, monthly medical mission, wherein they check the health of the kids there. And then for legal aid, they conduct talks or legal consultations with the parents of the kids in the area. So so that's why in this year, our club is one of the finalists for the for the Rotary Outstanding Awards. It's because we were able to continue the good work that we are doing in the community, and at the same time, we extended the support in the community by involving our sponsoring Rotary Club. So the impact or the help that we are doing is not just for the kids, but extending it to the families. So as we were discussing earlier about the impact and sustainability, is that we try to extend and invite more people to support the community, because there are a lot of things that can be done, and us alone as Rotaract Manila, we cannot do everything. That's why we invited our sponsoring club, and also we're inviting other clubs in our district to join us in the activities, because they have strengths that we don't, and they have activities that they can do for the club, for the community. So it's really more of how we can collaborate more to address the needs of the community. So I think that's one of the factors that help the club achieve these awards. And at the same time, the thing that we do when we submit our applications for the Rotary Outstanding Awards is that it's a group of people who reviews the application that we do. So everyone, like club service director, president, also our PR or public relations, public image director, we review the content before we submit. So we have to make sure that, okay, this is well written, like the information, like what was shared earlier about the number of benefactors, the number of members involved, the number of hours spent. These are the monitoring factors that we consider, that we place in our monthly reports. So we just pull out those information, and then when we do our application form for ROPA, we review them, and then that's what we put in our submission, and then we make sure that it's cohesive, the application, the narrative that we do, and then we hope that we get this kind of recognition, and we're grateful that our projects are recognized there.
Right. Thank you, Carla, for sharing the tips and tricks. And with that, we might very well win the next Rotaract Outstanding Award, recognized by the Rotary International. Right. But really great sharing. So let's look for more questions.
I think someone raised their hand just now.
Anyone has any questions? Okay, I actually have one question myself to all three speakers, and I would like to know the reason. For my question is, for doing any social cause or service project is 100% voluntary. So my question is, what drives you to continue doing all these works?
So you want an answer, Nat?
Yeah, anyone?
Okay. Well, I think the bottom line, any project that you do, I'm sure it starts with a passion. You must be passionate about wanting to do something, right? How do you translate that passion into a purpose? It must be purposeful. It must benefit somebody. Your passion that you want to do something must be purposeful. And then, how do you then go from being committed to fulfill your purpose? So it's a three-pronged thing. You're passionate about doing something, and you convert your passion to purpose, and then you put commitment into fulfilling your purpose. So in any project, any service you want to do, it has to come from your own inner self. And you think once you have that and you're committed to do it, you will really, really go a long way and you can achieve those goals that you set.
Right, thank you, PGGCP. Nila or Kala, do you have anything to share? What drives you to continue doing what you are doing now?
I think it's for me, it's about the people, I would say, because it drives me. Sometimes I want to overdo so that I get that sort of satisfaction. Because being a volunteer, most of the time, we are not paid for it, right? So a lot of us, based on my experience, we tend to be like, okay, I'm just a volunteer, because they don't feel that impact. In my personal opinion, when I started doing the service projects, even from Rotrack, what totally drove me is being able to go out there and change people life, even in a smaller scale. So I think that got me going every single day. And whenever I feel like, okay, I'm lagging, I try to do more so that the drive is always there. But it's all in us, actually.
Thank you, Nila. Kala, you have anything to share? What motivates you?
Aside from what was shared, like giving, like the passion to do the activity and really to give back to the community, it's the fellowship that I have, or like personally for me, it's the fellowship that I have with my fellow club mates or my fellow Rotaractors when we do. So it's like, for example, for us, a lot of us are working and some of us are students, and we get very busy and stressed with a lot of things that we do. So whenever we do fellowship activities, we discussed this actually last night when we had our club meeting. It gives us a sense of like a stress reliever, because when we are able to do good to the community and we were able to share the activities with our club mates and also with the benefactors in the community, it gives us a sense of fulfillment and at the same time a sense of camaraderie among us. Like, okay, all the hard work or week from work and then from preparing this, we all feel good about it. And it's something that we can go back to whenever we feel like, oh, I had a hard time at work, so I want to do something good. So I can do that with my fellow Rotaractors. So it's one of the reasons why a lot of us in the club really enjoy doing community service. It's the relationship that we build in the community, and at the same time, it strengthens the relationship that we have within the members of our club.
Thank you, Kala. I think I really agree with the point about Rotracting. It's about friendship and camaraderie and the sense of fulfillment as well. So I'm trying to look for more questions. You can unmute yourself to straight away ask the question if you have. Rotarian Anthony from Rotary Club of Bukit Kiara Sunrise. You want to post your question directly through?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Just been following, and I think the last conversation on why do we do what we do today is important. And in terms of, expressing our empathy and altruism. My question really relates to the conversations on fishing and teaching to fish. Teaching to fish means building capability and capacity in the beneficiary community. So what are the metrics Rotaractors need to consider or focus on to meet the criteria for project sustainability? And PDG-CT, this might be something you want to kick off for the conversation. And also, how can you balance with the 17 UN Sustainability Development Goals for sustainability to 2030? But that's a long-term view, because I didn't see any conversation about sustainability relating to the 17 UN SDG goals. So number one, what are the metrics Rotaractors can focus on to meet the criteria for sustainability? And two, how do you balance with the 17 UN SDG goals?
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for the question.
Okay, Anthony. I think what Rotary has done, if you look at it over the last few years, we haven't really initially have focused on any particular cause. Our cause has always been about ending polio plus. But the areas of focus has always been under our foundation area of focus, not Rotary as a whole. But over the years, we have moved, at least the last 2-3 years, we have moved our causes to the 6 areas of focus. If you look at our 6 areas of focus, and if you look at the 17 areas of focus in the UN SDG, they actually picked up those areas from there to focus on the 6 specific areas that we want to do. So it is within our 6 areas of focus. Now, with Rotary clubs, looking at those 6 areas of focus, we are also encouraging Rotaract clubs now to look at projects within the 6 areas of focus, so that our causes can be seamless. Because, you know, when someone asks us, what do you do? What project do you do? What project can I do? Just refer to our 6 areas of focus. Look at the community that you are going to work with. For example, if your focus is on reducing poverty, right? So economic development is that area of focus. And therefore, you need to do your needs assessment of that community, that project that you're going to do, so that eventually the project falls within our 6 areas of focus. So it is a very structured way for Rotary has done it, that you can sort of zoom your focus into these 6 specific areas. You really need not to look further. And within these 6 areas, there's so many sub areas you can do. But important thing is, it goes back to needs assessment. The metrics that you talk about is really about needs assessment, the capacity and the capability of what your club is able and capable of doing, engagement and cooperation with partners like Rotary clubs, the other NGOs, also corporates, so you can expand your outreach in terms of running your projects. So there's so many things that you can do beyond doing the basic fundamentals that we have been so used in doing. So look at our 6 areas of focus. It becomes sort of our guide of the causes that Rotary is looking at, and focus on needs assessment in doing your projects.
Right, thank you, PDC. Do you have anything to add, Kala or Neela?
No from me on this.
Right.
Calvin, I got a question for you and Kala.
Okay.
Mabuhay Kala, magandang hapon.
Magandang hapon.
For the Rotaract Outstanding Awards, it's all online submission. So those are the questions that you have to answer online, and there's column and there's a maximum number of characters that you need to fill in. So I think a lot of times these serial winners such as Manila, you know those questions, so you can prepare the answers before you go online to the online submission. So I think maybe Kala and Calvin can share what kind of questions that usually are asked for Rotaract Outstanding submission to stand a better chance. Sometimes the project is good, but the report writing is not up to par. So that's what hampers a lot of clubs. From my previous experience when I got this a few years back, it is actually more on what is quantifiable. Number of Rotaractors involved, number of Rotarians involved, number of spouses, public involved, amount of money, voluntary time, how the life of people improve. I think those are the quantifiable items that are usually the outstanding award submission. But I personally experienced a lot of Rotaract club put in a lot of words, but there is no numbers of actual fact. So maybe that hampers their chance of doing. What are your 2 experiences, or from your memory, what are the tips and questions that are usually asked? Thanks.
Kala, you want to take first?
Okay, yeah. So when writing your application for the outstanding awards or the Rotaract Project Outstanding Awards, is from what I remember, they would have questions on what is the objective of your project. For example, like how many members were involved, like a percentage of your members involved? How are you able to involve your Rotarians in the project? And then I think for this last application is that they requested for the submission of links to how you showcase your project. So I think it's important that you are able to articulate or express well in very limited words, because I think usually the maximum is, I think, 200 to 300 words when you will be inputting your application. So in those limit, the 200 to 300 words, you have to be very direct in expressing or in articulating the objectives of your project, the description of your project, and you have to show the impact that you do. So when you say showing the impact you do is like how many, like you mentioned earlier, Sanjeev, that they are looking into the numbers of the benefactors, the number of hours, and so on. So I think they would usually ask it. I'm not so sure moving forward if they will also do if they will also look into that. But these are very tangible factors that people look into to see how the project really panned out and really were implemented. So one tip is that what will be good, because it was very helpful for our club, is we really do our monthly reports for our club. Is that we, for example, when we do activities every month, at the end of the month, we do reports about it, like the number of hours we spent for the projects, the people involved, what were the objectives, how was it implemented, post evaluation of the project. So those monthly reports really help us in doing the submission. So we just pull out those reports from our records, and that's what we review and use when we submit for the ROPA application.
Okay, to echo from Carla, I have never won an award before, but based on my submission experience, but we were nominated we were shortlisted basically. Yeah, but from my memory for submitting, I think they focus on 3 points: sustainability, and second is impact. Impact is how can you relate your project to the 6 area of focus of Rotary, and thirdly, it's innovation. They actually like to see innovation. And of course, I really agree with what Carla said. They really want to see the numbers. I think numbers is a very big factor that they want to see. Right?
Thank you, Carla and Kelvin. I think PDG-CT, that is quite similar to our Rotary award submission as well, right? That is points that we look at when Rotarians submit for Best Rotary Projects. Yeah, she's muted, but she nodded her head. So
yes, that is something that that is something that we also look into, and I think, like Kelvin said, those are very key things that you have to, And I think this thing about innovative is something very new, because we really need to think of new things. The world is changing, things are happening around us in a very fast pace, and we need to change the way we do things, and we need to innovate.
Kelvin, if you don't mind, maybe I can share something that RCKJ has done for COVID-19, if you don't mind, a short time.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, I think like what Nila said just now, sometimes in the club, a lot of people don't want to do the project. So for example, for COVID-19, my club, half of the members are retirees and 4 of us are below the age of 40. So when we put it up, the majority of the club members say, oh, let's not do this. We are all high risk age group. We don't want to proceed with this. So actually, if you see the RCKJ activity for COVID-19, it's a personal effort. It started with me. I didn't even use RCKJ me. And what CT has said, that social media is very powerful. So what I do is I just put it up on social media, on Facebook, asking for help for 50 refugee community in Sentul. And within 2 hours, all 50 communities, all 50 families have been taken up. And this built up over time. And I think one of the effort that previously what Rotarians have said that we don't want to go and only hand out checks, hand out money. We want to do hands-on projects. But in case like this, we have to change our mindset. We can't just go out and give out money and hand out checks. So we need to utilize our network on how we can get help. So what Nila did is, Nila and the Little Helpers, that's what they call themselves, is to help us identify the communities. And then we got the bulk supplier who can supply goods for much cheaper than if you just buy it in a grocery. To buy those groceries, to put them into packages of 50 families or 100 families, and then deliver it to the community that needs. And then we ask for all the records of photos, videos, receipt submission, and then they submit to myself. And then as the project grows, that is when RCKJ comes in and says, hey, I think this is a good project. Can we adopt it as a club project? That is when the club actually came on board. So it don't have to, sometimes the project don't have to get everyone's agreement to do it in a way. We could utilize our network and our friendship with ex-Rotractors and Rotarians from other clubs, and then we build it from there. So the project was not meant to be a big project, but I think from currently this RCKJ effort, once the club got on board, and then PDJ City could watch for this, that then we start applying for matching grants for each of the project from the district COVID-19 fund, maximum of 1,500. And I think my club learned from Bukit Kiara Sunrise, Anthony, is we try to find projects that is 3,000 ringgit. So we raise only 1,500. The district will match with another 1,500, and then we do small projects that we could maximize the utilization of the district fund. So Bukit Kiara Sunrise, the last I checked, they have applied for 13 grants from the district, and I'm sure it has gone up. RCKJ learning from them, we have raised 8 projects. So we're catching up with Anthony. So this is some of the things that we can learn from each other, is utilizing our network and don't always fall back to the old way of working. New scenarios require new approaches. Yeah, so that is my lesson learned from this COVID-19 fund. So in the end, I think us and the Little Helpers, we have, correct me if I'm wrong, I think our total expenses goes up to 16,000 ringgit just from ourselves and Little Helpers. And in total, RCKJ's effort has now raised 30,000 ringgit in total of 9 projects that we did. So that is some lesson learned that we can have. Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
All right, thank you, Sanjeev, for the sharing. And
can I just add on to Sanjeev, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So in terms of the Little Helpers team, right, most of the team members are among, in average, about 23 to 33, which is a Rotaract age, right? But as of date, we have covered 1,211 families across Peninsular Malaysia. And also, we fed about 100 homeless people for 10 days on this COVID initiative as well.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Neela.
Kelvin?
Yep.
I think this Sanjeev mentioned a very important word is collaboration. I think what he meant was collaboration. It's so important to be able to find partners you can collaborate with, because we can't cover everything all over the place. So we had the same model, Sanjeev, in that we found people on the ground who could connect with the people in need and then collaborate with them and do the necessary screening to make sure that the people who were in need were getting the food, basically. Yeah? And collaborating partners come from so many different areas. And, you know, as Rotractors, I would encourage you to look for partners from every angle. Our club has actually signed 2 MOUs, collaboration. One is with the Help University, for our mentoring, Rotary Education Mentoring Program. And the other collaboration agreement we have is with the Jeffrey Sachs Center at Sunway University for Sustainable Development. And going forward, we see ourselves really doing more of that, because expertise lies in different people, not just with us. And when you have collaborating partners like that, it builds your capacity quite fast. And you know, also on the ground, we need people like Neela, you know, different organizations like that, and connect with the beneficiaries, and then you move even faster and your impact can be there. So that's really what we see going forward as very, very important skill to do, collaborating skills, yeah. And PDJCT, I mean, when I said metrics just now, I meant basically in terms of, you know, building sustainability. We talked about building capability and capacity. And wonderfully, you've put the 6 areas of focus into the 17 SDG goals. I think that's really important. But I think, sometimes we talk about building capacity and capabilities about technical skills. But what we miss sometimes is, the non-technical skills of the people for sustainability, which is basically self-efficacy, resiliency, mindset, mental well-being, that also needs to be taken care into account. I think that's really one area that we should look at a bit more. Yeah. So
Right.
that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Rotarian Anthony and Rotarian Sanjeev, for the sharing. I totally agree that the importance of collaboration. We collaborate if we want to increase the impact, increase the capacity and the means that we can do, things that we can do. So I believe we are a bit running out of time. So I can take one last question. Anish asked, how do we balance between Rotary, our social life, family, and work? So basically, how do we do our time management properly? Anyone wants to take it?
Planning.
Okay,
Everything
planning.
is boils down to planning. And what would be your priorities?
Short and concise. Thank you.
Yeah. Just planning and your priority. If you have your priorities set, you'll be able to plan your key things, as you mentioned, your family life, for those who are working, or for those who are studying, right? You have your social life, and you have your NGO life or your voluntary life, right? So these are the 5 things, and these are just the priorities that you run. So plan your time.
Yeah.
If someone says they don't have time, then something is wrong.
I agree with PDG too.
Yeah, PDG, I just like to say that, I fully agree with you. Only that I don't normally look at balance, because you never can have balance, but it's more important to have harmony. Balance is not important, because when you're really driving a project, you're going to be out of balance, basically. So accept that you're going to be out of balance. But as PDG-CT said, those 5 areas, make sure you do have harmony as you go into out of balance.
Right. Thank you, Rotarians, for sharing. So planning is very important. Planning, make sure you also prioritize your work, as mentioned by Lee Kun. So with that, I believe this is the end of our session today. And before that, thank you all for listening to us all the time. And I would like to wrap this up very quickly from what Joshua have gathered, what Joshua have efficiently gathered. So if you're having a paper or a pencil, then you just quickly note it down. So I suppose what I've gathered in this short amount of time is to ensure our service projects are need-driven. We have to do need assessment, site visit, and access our club capacity. And the second takeaway is to make sure that you really look at the community needs and not carrying out the project just because you like it or short theory, and always look at the possibilities to collaborate with others. And as mentioned by PDG-CT, do your homework and really understand what are the problems that the community face and work backwards. And the things that we can still do during this COVID-19 period is organizing online fundraiser, focus on the social media awareness campaigns, and also promoting community empowerment messages through social media as well. And the tips for effective online fundraising methods are to make engaging content, and to bridge the gap between, and secondly, to bridge the gap between your donors and the beneficiary. And thirdly, to show consistency and build trust with the public. And fourth is to always have a post-event report to ensure accountability. As for funding sources, there are a few links that you can check it out for support grants, global grants as well. And the last question is, the last takeaway is how to ensure your project is sustainable. First, think long term. Second is ensure that through the process you are teaching the beneficiary how to fish, not by merely giving the fish to them. And I believe that's all. Yep. Thank you so much once again. Thank you to our speakers. And to 88 of you who were here just now. Thank you so much.
Can I just add something?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I think I'd like to share this with all the Rotractors and every one of us out there, especially this time during COVID, okay? Community service doesn't mean that COVID right now is affecting every one of us, the have and have-nots. Try and look within our own family. Try and look within our own Rotractors. The challenges they are having, because some of them are jobless, some of them do not have access to education, access to training. So try and look within the family in as much as you want to go out there and help the community, because our community, our family is also going through the same COVID-19 issues. Try and look within at the same time. Yeah?
Thank you for the tip, PDGCP. And last but not least, we would like our participants here to give us feedback. So you may fill out the form that is available in the Zoom chat. So we would appreciate any feedbacks on our session so we can carry out even better sessions in the future. And just for sharing to those that are still not very hungry yet, just to share our annual plan for this term. So in a continuation of our effort earlier to help the Orang Asli communities through the Rotrack Online Festival, we have raised about 20,000. That is for emergency aid, so to help them to buy food aid as well as essential needs. So as a continuation to promote sustainability in this project, we will also want to have a long-term plan that is to build a home for them. So for this, we are having an ambitious goal of 80,000. So plan A is to raise 80,000 throughout the entire term. If we couldn't raise 80,000, we would resort to plan B, that is to adopt an Orang Asli community to help them out in maintenance and voluntary work as well. So this is just an update for what's coming up next in the next term. All right. Thank you so much, and hope everyone stay safe and stay physical distancing. Thank you.
Woo! Thanks, guys.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you, guys. Very, very
Well
good
done.
session.
Joining us, Carla.
Bye.
Thank you, Carla. Thanks
Yeah.
for teaching me how to submit.
Hey, stop recording, Sashi.